Exactly 1 year ago, I traveled to Italy, and this is a sketchbook I started while I was there. I was in Italy from Christmas Day through 2 weeks after New Year's. It was a magical time to be in Italy. The streets weren't as packed as they would be in the summertime, and the fog that rolled over the northern regions gave the landscape this sort of mystical quality. In this spread, I romanticized the long journey from Houston to Verona. We had layovers in Atlanta and Amsterdam, then finally landed in Milan. From Milan, we took a train to arrive at our final destination, Verona. Here I sketched the 2 connecting train stations. If you're visiting Italy, you'll probably fly in from Milan or Rome just because they have the 2 largest airports. The rest of the country is very easily accessible by rail. These watercolor paintings are from our first day exploring Verona city center. We walked through the Portoni della Bra into the square and were greeted by the arena. There were so many other piazzas in the center to enjoy, like this one with the statue of Dante in the center. Shortly after arriving in Italy, we took a road trip to Siena, Orvieto, and Rome. My boyfriend's little cousin was protesting his math studies during this trip, and I thought it was a fun little moment to capture. Our stop was Siena. It's widely known for its medieval architecture and the Palio di Siena, or annual horse race, that each of the neighborhoods compete in. I was obsessed with the neighborhood crests. They're each so unique, and I just had to paint them. And the simple things around the city, like hanging garlic in doorways and fresh produce from the grocery stores. We also entered the Duomo di Siena. This was my first cathedral in Italy I encountered, and I fully lost my mind. The intricate details of the building itself, the statues around it, and the beautiful artwork and painted ceilings were too much for my tiny brain to handle. Pretty much every corner of Rome is picturesque. The first morning in Rome, we headed straight to the Vatican Museums and saw the Sistine Chapel. Here is a spread of some statues at the Vatican Museums. Not having a strict itinerary worked great for us in Rome. It rained the first day we arrived, so we pushed back our visit to the Colosseum to the next day, and it was just breathtaking. Exploring Rome on foot is the best way to see all of the piazzas and landmarks throughout the city, as well as discovering authentic gelato shops and restaurants away from the touristy spots. In this spread, I did some sketches of Piazza Navona. As you can tell, towards the end of the sketchbook, the pages are a little less complete, but I figured after a year, I just needed to close this sketchbook out and move on, so I decided to make this video anyways. This is the iconic Trevi Fountain. I made my boyfriend wake up at the butt crack of dawn to take pictures when it was completely empty, and it was so worth it. After returning to Verona, we explored towns around Lake Garda, and then we spent a gloomy day in Venice, Burano, and Murano. I'm obsessed with the colorful houses and the way they reflect in the winding canals throughout the town. Here I painted Ponte Rialto. Afterwards, we made our way by car to Cinque Terre, and the weather couldn't have been more perfect. We stopped by some small seaside towns along the way, like Lerici. If you found yourself in Cinque Terre and have the time, I recommend taking a hike between 2 towns. It's an amazing experience watching the town shrink into the distance as you're walking alongside the mountains. One of the most memorable moments of my trip was running from the train station to a stunning viewpoint to catch the sunset over Manarola in Cinque Terre. I really wanted to capture the bright golden glow across the buildings from the sunset here, but I don't really know if I did it any justice. These are my least favorite pages, but I still felt like I had to share it. These pages are from the trip leaving Cinque Terre. The last city we visited was Milan to catch an Inter Milan game. A few days later, we watched their exciting victory against Juve in the Super Cup on TV. I'm excited to be back in Italy in a couple of days, 1 whole year after this trip, to study abroad in Florence, a new city of Italy to discover on my own. I'll be in Italy for 4 months this time, and I intend to preserve as much of it as I can through my paintings and sketches. Since I have more time there, I hope to do more plein air pieces and spend time sketching from start to finish in one location. I really want to focus on being more loose and a little more expressive with my sketchbook pages this time around, as well as developing my personal style. If you want to keep up with me while I study abroad, stick around and subscribe to my channel. I'm really happy to have you here. Thanks for watching!